Hello, welcome to the G.I. Joe New News Classified Reviews. My name is David T. Allen, or if you would like, Super Dave 817. If you would like to see more of this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button for future videos. Thank you and enjoy.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the G.I. Joe New News Classified Review. I am David Allen. Thank you for joining us today. If you would like, you can call me Super Dave. I appreciate everybody in the chat joining us today. We are talking about Mutt and Junkyard, number 113 of the classified line. We're going to be talking about them. Look at that cool grizzly face on both Mutt and Junkyard. It's going to be an interesting video today. I look forward to getting into it with you guys. I wanted to first let you know we're changing packages, so we're going to be into the new packaging going forward from Mutt and Junkyard forward. So we have now left the cool render photography stage of classified, which I'm not that happy about. I really enjoyed those packages, but it is what it is. We got to go with the flow. There was a lot of complaints about those packages. People really wanted to see the figure inside the package before they bought it. And so there was a big issue there with the packaging. So they switched it to this new package with the window. And there's some new elements. We'll go into those once we get into the figure. But I wanted to get that out of the way early first. Good morning, Michael Gene Fleming. Thanks for joining us again today. So let's go into a little bit of the history of Mutt and Junkyard. First, of course, we're going to go to Dan Klingsmith's series of books, Creating G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero. This is volume number 1. And Mutt and Junkyard, let's see. There he is. Mutt and Junkyard. There was a lot of iterations of Mutt and Junkyard that they were going through over there. You can see different color studies, red and burgundy and blue and green and brown and gray, and trying to make him an MP. On this page, it shows some stuff over here where they were trying to make him into an MP and stuff like that. So there's a lot of interesting work on this particular character. So let's go into what Dan and Ron had to say about this. Alternate names: Dogface and Dog, or George for Junkyard. Interesting, Dogface or Dog. Dog is D-A-W-G. That's funny. Year release 1984, designed by Ron Rudat. Again, Ron Rudat did most of the figures from 82 to 87, and most of the vehicle driver designs for those. Seeing that dogs have been used by law enforcement for centuries, it only made sense to create a canine handler and dog. Originally designed in a more traditional canine officer's uniform, many of the elements carried over to what eventually became Mutt and Junkyard. There you go. Then some more little renders here of the figure and turnarounds. I don't know. Yeah, you can see that a little bit there. But I like this red one. That's a kind of cool looking one. Then there's a little bit of a call out to his face mask and helmet there. And that's going to come into play with this quite a lot, I'm sure. So that is that. And then we're going to go into his vintage package, which is, let's see. Where is it? Nope, can't find it. Oh, there he is. All right. There's a vintage package there. Cover up Firefly. There, we'll get into Mutt's. I need to go this way more. There. You can see he comes with a lot of gear. Good morning, Sean Jones. Thanks for joining us. Morning, Joe Gang. So he came from one of my favorite Joe years is 84. 84, 85, and a lot of 83 are probably my three main years of my favorite stuff. Yeah, I like a lot of things in 87 and a couple of things in 86 as well. But I would say 83 to 85 are my three primary favorite years. And then, of course, he got his first appearance, Mutt and Junkyard, in issue 25 of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero by Larry Hama from the 80s. His first appearance in the Sunbow animation was the Pyramids of Darkness miniseries. He ends up, which is very odd, in space with Dusty in a story where they're trapped in space and they have to sing and all this stuff. It's very, very weird, but that's Sunbow for you. But this series, this story is one of my favorite stories that's going on over a period of 6 or 7 issues. It's the origin of Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow and the Arashikage, and bits and pieces with Zartan, bits and pieces with Firefly, Hard Master, Soft Master, and all kinds of different things. It's what is considered the iconic origin for Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, and lots of cool characters are involved in that. Plus, the subplot is the hierarchy of Cobra being stuck at Zartan's swamp in the Everglades, Florida, which I live in Florida. And a lot of the characters are all over the place in the swamp. There's Wild Weasel, there's Firefly, there's Tripwire, Torpedo, Mutt and Junkyard. There's all the Cobras, Destro, Cobra Commander, Baroness, Zartan, the Dreadnoks. There's all kinds of stuff going on in the storyline. And then it ends up leading out to the ocean, and you get the shark, and you get the whale, and Cutter, and Deep Six, and Wild Bill with the dragonfly. So there's all kinds of Joes involved in this whole thing, and there's all kinds of Cobras involved in this. So it's one of my all-time favorite G.I. Joe stories in the comics that Larry wrote. So there, I thought I'd go into that a little bit. And then, of course, we have the vintage figure, Mutt and Junkyard. Let's get into that a little bit. I think I have most of the gear for it, for this vintage version. Let's see. So there's my figure. He's very tight version of him. There's hardly any paint scrapes or anything on that. It looks almost like he's a mint figure. Really, really nice. Very solid. Good morning, Lego Star Wars Kid. Thanks for joining us. Morning, all. So then we have Junkyard there. Rottweiler. Looks really good, and he's got that paint on the bottom there to give him that aspect that he's three-dimensional, all black there. So let's put some of the gear on him. We have his helmet, of course, and then we have his muzzle. And the funny thing is, the muzzle is not for Junkyard, it's for Mutt. Which is so funny that they did that, to give this character a little bit of more characterization, I guess. I don't know what you would call that. Unique characteristics. Let's see. All right, let's see if we can get it on his head. Take his helmet back off. Put it on his head. See if that'll stay on his head. It's on there, but it's not on there very good. So it's on there, but it's not on there very good. Then we have his pistol silencer. So put that in this hand. And then he's got like a dog handle type thing for this hand because he's got that dog handle glove on there. So we'll put that in this hand. There. And then he's got the dog handle helmet or leash part for Junkyard. So then we put that in on Junkyard's head. There. If that was on him in the comics, we probably wouldn't have gotten that whole story that we ended up with. So there you go. There's Mutt and Junkyard with his leash and everything all there on. I'm going to just stick him over there. There. And we'll move on to the classified figure. So again, 113, we're moving right along. And look at that grizzly art. Really looks cool on both of them, right? I love it. So then we still have the Target artwork with the QR code to nowhere, but they moved the renders below the QR code. So now the renders are in another place. So let's get into that renders. I mean, the designation, not the renders, the designation. Sorry. Getting my terminology a little mixed up. All right, so the first one is security. He has a little badge with a star, that's security. Then he has the bullets, which I believe the bullets are light weapons. Yes, light weapons. And then he has the badge with the outdoors, which is environmental specialist jungle, it says. And then he has the one with the paw, which I'm guessing that's going to be like dog handling or something. Yep, animal handling, the paw. So there's your designations for Mutt and Junkyard for this episode. And then I mentioned earlier they changed the packaging, so they've moved the photography package or the photography part of the package to the back now. So the Shooting the Galaxy photography is now on the back. And so there you go with that photography. And they still have the callouts. Instead of having the render of the figure with the callouts, they have the photography with the callouts on the package. And that's a really beautiful photography, I must say, on that one. What do you guys think? You think that's nice? I think it's very nice. Now let's look in the back, see if there's any, like, this looks like the scene from the comics because he was in the jungle in the swamp in the comics. So that's that scene, I think. I'm looking to see, there's an alligator that's Crocmaster's alligator there. What else is in here? I don't see anything else. Looks like that's it. But we do have 2 or 3 call outs. We have the good boy head, we have the bad boy head, and then we have his badge. So there you go. Oh, and there's renders designations on here too. So then we go to the front of the package, and we have the layout. Awesome. For the render package, I'm guessing, or the photography part. So we have the figure all laid out with all of his gear and everything. We have that artwork, that side artwork, a little bit on the front there. Like this is like the earlier versions of the packages that we had, the artwork that rolled around, similar to that, but they changed it slightly. So we have the artwork here, artwork there. It's the same artwork, but it's not like a roll around. So then what else? So I guess people wanted to see the figures in package. So that's why we have this new design. And we're going to keep with this new design for quite a long time. So this is the second one we've gotten in this. The first one was the 60th anniversary diver. and now Mutt and Junkyard will be the next one going forward for the main line. And so, what do you guys think? Do you like this? I don't particularly like this design package. I like the one with the photography on the front and the render in the back and things like that. That's just my feeling on it, but I know a lot of people like this better. So what do you guys feel in the chat? Do you think this is a better package, or do you think the other one was a better package? I think you guys have said it in the chat many times over the last year or so that we've been doing this, but I'd like to hear about it in this one, since this is a specific one to this change. So he looks, based on the package, it looks pretty close to the vintage. Sorry, Dave. I like it as well as most of us. So you like this new version better. Okay, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. Nothing wrong with that. I was just curious. So let's see. We're going to open this guy up. We'll get him out of here. One of the things we're not going to get anymore, we're not going to get the lockers, the weapons crates any longer. So the vamp and the clutch was the last time that we got the weapons crate for the figures and the items. So now we're going to have the tray with everything in it. There. So we have the tray now. And then we have the stars and stripes behind there. There, put that down. So let's get this. Let's get him out of here. Excuse all that racket, trying to pop this figure out of here. All right. I want to be careful because I don't want to break him or anything. He comes with lots and lots of gear, that's for sure. I like this design. It's very, very vintage inspired. Very vintage inspired. The other package, you like the one with the photography on the front and not on the back, Sean Jones? Very, very inspired. I love how vintage inspired he is. You can see he's got that grizzly mug on him. They're growling away. I like the face print on this. He's got like a second, like a 4 o'clock shadow around there. I don't know if it comes off very good on this with my lighting, but he's got a 4 o'clock shadow, and he's got some like hair on his arms, which I really like. And they put it underneath this gauntlet over there too. Very, very vintage inspired, almost a little bit slightly different. He has the badge, obviously, that they called out on the package, on the back of the package, and he's got a little deco of bullets there, and the zipper and stuff there. They did change a little bit of the holster. The holster was black on the vintage, and they made it brown here. They did give him the dog handling gauntlet. They gave it a lot of deco, brown deco on that, and then they gave him a black glove with brown deco there. He does have the secondary leg holster on his right leg. He's got knee pads, brown and black boots, which I like the detailing and the color deco on those. He's got the familiar red pads that were on his vintage figure and the collar, but the difference is they show the hair underneath there. So he's definitely a burly guy underneath this, his costume, his uniform, whatever you want to call it. He's got a secondary belt with a bunch of pouches and some I like the call out to that mace there that has it looks like some words or whatever, but it's not, you can't read it. It would have been nice to get a second passive head for Mutt, but all in all, it's an no doubt a home run of a set. Yeah, I agree with you, Lego Star Wars Kid. So far, he looks really good. I look forward to getting into the rest of him. Let's see. So then there's a lot of detail on the back on that harness, that um, secondary there as well. Um, he looks very grisly. There's like some scars on his face there. You can see his eyes are really good as well. It looks really good. I think they did a good job with it so far. So let's get into some of these accessories. So obviously we have Junkyard. We got a Rottweiler. And this is new. They gave him the harness there so Mutt can hold on to it. And there's a lot of green deco with that. And he's got the red spiked collar. And he's got this is the, I'm guessing the bad boy head where he's growling. And there's a lot of deco detail in that face with him. There's also a lot of deco with his paws and his legs. Always down on all fours. It's got a little deco there in the front on that harness as well. So this is quite a designed figure. They've got him all kitted out all the ways around, all four sides. Really detailed. Junkyard is. So I'm going to put that there. So then we have like it showed on the package, the good boy head there with his tongue sticking out and his mouth and stuff all decoed, and you can see those eyes in there, and his ears are all flopped over. It's very good. One of the interesting things, I usually don't call out a lot of stuff with hands when they do different hand sets, but on this one I'm going to, because I find it fascinating that they would do this for the hands. But I think it's an interesting way to showcase a certain situation, like a disability kind of situation, because he uses all the hands have different signs. I lost one of the hands. Darn it. I lost one of his hands. It popped out. I'll have to find it later. So let me get into this. So you have different hands, and each of them have different movements. So it's like sign language. What is the term for sign language? LDS? Is it LDS is sign language? I want to make sure I get that right. And so all the hands have different directions and different things that they're doing on them. See that one? It's like a C. So then I lost one of the hands. He fell down there. So then he comes with this real wibbly dagger. Real wibbly dagger with some, can't really see that, with some silver deco on there. I have to bend that back. So they haven't gotten back to the regular solid weapons yet, but there you go. I bent it back a little bit. I'm going to put that on his in his holster on his secondary on his chest there. So there, you got that. So then we have a bunch of helmets. So we have this like damaged. It looks like it's all dirt and grimy. Oh, bless me. So I like the fact that they made it like he was outdoors. They gave it that wash, that brown wash on there. It looks really cool. I'm going to put that on his head there. Then he has some goggles. Let's see. That have a little bit of gold in the eyes there. So we're going to put that on his helmet. See if I can get that on there. Yep, I got it on there. So there you go. Put that back on his head. There. So then we have a second set of goggles. Second set. Put that over there. And then we have his muzzle, which has a little bit of a green and red deco in there. I don't know if you can see all that detail on that there. So we're going to have to take his helmet back off and put the muzzle on. I don't know. I guess you have to put it in reverse. So you have to put the muzzle, take the head off, and then put the muzzle on like that. And then put the head back on. There, like that. Yeah. And then put the helmet on. So he looks really cool like that. That looks really cool. All right, so then what else? We have all of his weapons. So we have a rifle. So you saw in the vintage one, he only had a silencer pistol, and now he's got a cool M16 rifle with some green deco on it. It's a little wibbly, but it's all right. Put that over there for now. And then he's got a dog handling stick, like a police dog handling stick. So that wasn't in the vintage, I don't believe. And then we have looks like a 45. Get it out of there. Excuse all that racket. I'm trying to get this 45 out of here. There. All right. We got everything out of there. So we'll put that over there. We got his 45. And that also has some deco, some green deco on it. This was one of my all-time favorite Joes when I was young. Yeah, he came out, Sean Jones, in a year that was just an incredible year. That year, 84, it was just one of the best years. If he had come out like maybe in like 83 with like Destro and Snow Job and Doc and Airborne and stuff like that, he might have been the best figure of that year. But the fact that he came out in 84 with Zartan, Firefly, Storm Shadow, Barbecue, Blowtorch, Spirit, Rakondo. He kind of Duke, Roadblock. He kind of melded into the background a little bit as a vintage character. Hey, Woody, good morning. What's up, everybody? Sean Jones. I put that muzzle on the Halo jumper. Oh, okay. That's cool. Woody. But I think the fact that he came out in '84 he kind of melded into the background with all these major banger of characters. When you have like characters like Zartan, Storm Shadow, Firefly, Duke, Roadblock, Blowtorch, Spirit, Recondo, um, it- you know, all kinds of vehicles and stuff that came out, that he kind of ends up going into the background a little bit, even though he's an incredible figure. Look at him. He's an incredible vintage figure, and he's an incredible classified figure. It's just that's was his luck of the draw. And I think if he had came out in the '83 line, he would have been like the best figure probably for that year. But let's see what else. Let's get a lot of this stuff on him. I put his revolver in his holster on his right leg. I don't see a spot for this dog handling thing, and he doesn't. He only has the harness. So I'm going to. I think I'm going to keep this in here in his hand. This hand, his dog stick, and I'm going to put this hand on this and see how that works. I don't know if that's going to work or not, because it's not very high. So you'd have to like crunch his legs down a little bit, I guess, in order to get this to work. Like kind of like that, in order to get him to do that. Let's see if I can do it. I'm going to attempt this. I don't know if this is going to work or not. All right, so I kind of have it on there. No, it came off. It kind of came off. So I was going to do it kind of like that and try to get it to hold on there. But he's too tall of a figure. Yeah. Kind of like that. I don't see any other way of doing it, because you can't really get him to grip that. He's too tall. Maybe I can get the legs of Junkyard to be a little taller. Let me see if I can raise him up a little bit. There. Maybe that'll work. That might work for Mutt, because these paws are a little articulated as well, and the legs are articulated, so they do move around and they go up and down, and the paws also are adjustable. There's little things on the back of the paw that are adjustable. So I'm going to try to raise him up a little bit more and see if I can get him to hold that, because he does not have the strap like the vintage one had. He's got this harness set up, which is different. All right, so I got it on his hand, and now we got to do that. No, it came off again. Yeah, I don't know. The fact that he's supposed to be holding Junkyard and he really can't, kind of disappoints me a little bit with this. I think the figure looks beautiful, and they went to town on a lot of the details and stuff like that with it. But he's got to hold Junkyard. He's got to be able to hold him and be able to do those scenes in the comics and in the animation with him and stuff like that. So I think maybe he should have had that dog handle thing like he did with the vintage one. So that's a little bit of an odd thing, but there's a lot of excellent points to this figure. It's very well decoed, very well designed. There's tons of accessories with it. He's got pouches all over the place. He's got all kinds of really cool details. Of course, he's got the butterflied shoulders, as most figures. He's also got the double pin elbows, the double pin knees. He's got the foot rockers, the secondary foot ankle articulation. He's got the leg and crotch articulation. He does have a ab crunch underneath that secondary. He's got the head rocker, and he's got the thigh and the calf articulation, and the wrist articulation as well. But he does not have the secondary wrist articulation or that additional swivel on the wrist. So he's got most of the articulation points. And as I showed earlier, Junkyard has a lot of articulation points in his legs and movement, and his head turns, head goes up and down as well. I don't think his jaw moves. The jaw is solid, so it doesn't move. But overall, it's an excellent figure. I would say it's at least a 75 or 85 in that range. And I love all those hand gesture hands and things like that they gave it. I lost one of them down there. I'll have to go pick it up. So what do you guys think? Do you guys like Mutt and Junkyard? Are you glad we got him as an animal companion? I really enjoy a lot of the animal companion figures because it gives a lot of extra detail and a lot of extra deco and a lot of extra accessories and stuff with the animal companions. And let's see, we've only gotten a couple animal companions. He's like our third or fourth animal companion figure, because they obviously we got Crocmaster and Fiona, we got Snake Eyes and Timber twice, we got technically Scrap Iron with his drone is considered a price point, a figure and pet price point, because it came with that drone. And we're going to get other things like that in the future. There are going to be other figures that are going to come with like mechanical type devices, so it will be part of the figure and pet price point in the future. And now we have Mutt and Junkyard. So we do have some other characters. There's a lot of figure and pet companions that we could be getting. Sometimes they give us stuff that we never thought we wanted, and it turns out it's totally awesome. Like we're going to be getting Snake Eyes with a polar bear, which I'm like, why? Why did we get that? But they thought we wanted it, and they gave it to us. Then there's some other figures like Nagahide with his warthog, and then I think Road Pig with his dog, and then Law and Order will be coming, and then the Desert Scorpion will have a mechanical scorpion, giant scorpion, or I guess a science manipulated scorpion, maybe not animatronic, but maybe like manipulated through science, right? Yeah, the polar bear was in the cartoon, but it wasn't really Snake Eyes' companion. It was more like an adversary of Snake Eyes. And I guess the fact that they had the chunks come out of the shoulder with the arrows and stuff, I guess it is an adversary. So I wonder if they would do something like that in the future as a pet companion with a figure. Would they do that? Because they did it with Sigma 6. Like you got like Recondo with the anaconda, you got Storm Shadow with the tiger, you got obviously Snake Eyes and Timber was a Dark Energon steroids. There you go, Michael Gene Fleming. So there are other creatures that could be adversaries with figures. I don't know if they would go down that way, but obviously they did it with the polar bear because that's not a pet in any sense of the word. But I like that idea. It's something to keep in mind in the back of our heads that they did that, and what could be a animal type adversary with a character, maybe Recondo with Anaconda or something. I don't know. Or maybe somebody with a mummy or something. Go back into the adventure team and do somebody with the Yeti or somebody with like the tiger. You know, so there's some interesting things there if you take that paradigm of Snake Eyes with the polar bear a little further and more imaginative. Um, 6'10". Hello, good morning, Yo Joe Daddy. What's up, Super Dave? What's up, fellas? Y'all smash that like button and subscribe. Hope everyone is doing well. Definitely hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit that notification button so you can get notified of all my videos. Most of you guys are already in most of my videos, so you've probably already did all that stuff. So the number one thing you can do to help these videos is sharing. We're trying to get up to the 200 mark now. I think we're in the 170s now, so we get about 20 something or 30 more to go to get up to the 200 mark. We can open up another Street Fighter figure with that, and do another top 10 list. We've already did our top 10 Joes, top 10 Cobras. So what can we do as a top 10 list next? That's a good idea. Maybe I'll give you guys the option of choosing what to do for the top 10 and what we should be getting for fun stuff. What's going to be next? Lego Star Wars Kid, our next video is going to be number 114. It's going to be a Cobra, and there's a lot of interesting history with this particular Cobra. I think you guys are going to find this fascinating. Woody 610, what's up? You're saying hi to everybody in the chat. That's cool. Are there enough animals yet to do a top 10 of them? Yeah, I think there are. Actually, I think there are enough top 10. There's enough animals in classified or in vintage. Vintage, there's a lot more animals than there are in classified. Michael Gene Fleming, I think if you include all the robots and you include all the like animatronic type stuff, I think definitely in the vintage there's a list to, there's enough to do a top 10. Maybe that's what we'll do. That's a good idea. Give me some top 10 lists for the next anniversary episode, the next big episode for me to do. That's a good one, I think, because classified has done a lot, but there's a lot more to go. There's way more to go. There's been a rumor for quite a while of an animal and or figure and pet companion set that was supposed to come out, and we haven't gotten it yet. And the rumor is it's Dusty version 2 with his Bobcat, or no, yeah, I guess it's a Bobcat with Dusty version 2. And then there's also Spearhead and Max. There's the Eel version 2 with the robotic and fish. There's Deep Six version 2 with Finback. There's Voltar with his Vulture we haven't gotten yet. Who else? I'm trying to think of all the pet companions and figures. Obviously, we've gotten Raptor, we've gotten Spirit, we've gotten Shipwreck, the head pets, smaller bird pets. Then we have, I already said some of the ones that are coming. I'm trying to think, who else is in there in the vintage line that I'm missing that has a pet? Was there anything in the 2000s? Any odd characters that were new? Oh, there was that new dog handler that was in the modern era that had a dog. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But that was a new animal. It was another dog. I'm sure after I'm done with this, I'll think of a bunch of them, and it'll be like, well, I was trying to do that on the stream. They've added some new pets too, like a Yabo, the monkey that came with Naugahyde and his warthog. So they are adding new pets as well. I would like there to be another shipwreck, a longshoreman shipwreck. I've talked about this before, and I would like them to do a, a different poly, maybe a more articulated poly. Top 10 army builders, top 10 uh, silly outfits, top 10 vehicles. Sean Jones says, "You are the number one army builder, Woody." uh, I've seen. There's a lot of army builders, Sean Jones, in the community. I know a bunch of them, but obviously Woody has the bandwidth to do army building. But that's a good one, army builders, because there's a lot of great army builders in this line. But if you include the entire brand, wow, that would be a lot of army builders. And there's some really good army builders in the modern era as well, different versions of the vintage ones that I kind of like a little bit better. The classified, there's 2 snakes, 3 wolves, scorpion, 4 birds, 3 dogs, a warthog, a croc, and monkey. Dusty comes with a coyote. Spearhat comes with the bobcat. 610 Yojo Daddy. Thank you very much. Cobra Adder. Oh, that's right, Cobra Adder. Pet, yep. Cobra blue shirts are the best. Cobra blue shirts are the best. Lego Star Wars kid. Thanks, Sean. Sounds like a Christmas song, 610. That's right. 1 turtle dove, 2 calling birds, 3 dancing whatever. Yeah, it does kind of sound like a Christmas. So that's something else I wanted to give you guys a heads up. We're probably going to do a Christmas episode. It'll probably be the top 10 classified of 2025. And so we'll do that at some point. And a cobra in a pear tree. You guys are funny. So we'll probably do a Christmas episode, a New Year's episode, getting closer to those holidays. We did one last year. It was just a top 10 G.I. Joe toys of the year. But there's a lot of really good toys this year in classified. So it's probably going to be all classified anyway. Even though I like some of the Super 7 stuff and some of the games and some of the other G.I. Joe things that have come out this year, I think it's going to end up being a top 10 best classified figures because there's so many phenomenal figures. I've got notifications for my wetsuit mainframe, Grim Viper, and Sci-Fi that are on the way. And I think that's going to be it for 2025. I don't think we'll get anything else after that in 2025, to my knowledge. I think everything else will be 2026. So once I get all those, I'll show them off a little bit, and then we will go into for Christmas that top 10 list. And if we hit the 200 mark before that for subs, we'll do a special episode for that as well. And then another one for New Year's as far as what we can expect for next year. What do you think about Super 7 closing their physical stores, Super Dave? I did not know they were closing their physical stores. I just talked to Brian Flynn the other day. He never mentioned it to me, but I've seen posts. That stinks because I wanted them to open up a store in Florida. I'm sorry that happened. They must not be doing that great because that was their first thing that they did. Obviously, they did the newsletter first. Then they did the stores. Then they started to do vinyl Japanese monsters and stuff like that. And that's where they took off. But their stores were their main thing for many, many years. more than 20, 25 years, I would say. Maybe. I don't know. That's sad. Exactly. That's why I asked Dave. I watched that interview, never mentioned it whatsoever. Yeah, I didn't know about that, or I would have asked. There was several things that I missed in my interview, even though I think it was a great interview. There's a lot of stuff going on all the time with Super 7, so it's hard to cover everything. So I wanted to ask him about the Ultimates to see if we had anything in the future for that, and I would have liked that as well. Um, I can send him an email and ask him about that and see if he wants to do another interview and talk about the stores. But I don't know if he will or not since we just did that other interview. But I'll see. I'll reach out to him and I'll ask. So thank you for letting me know that. I was not aware of that, Woody. Um, it just goes to show you there's so much stuff going on with this brand, and it's hard to keep up with it. So we're going to be doing also our monthly comic book episode as well. So we got a lot of stuff in the future coming up. So hopefully you guys will all be in there. It was a good interview, Dave. I had hard to remember in the time you're doing it. Yeah, it is hard to remember everything when I'm in the interview because sometimes you go off on tangents and things, and I feel like I have to bring up certain points and stuff. And it's only an hour. I have a time frame for those type interviews with these company people, and it's tricky. So it is what it is. But again, I'll reach out to him and ask if he wants to talk a little bit about that because I've been a really big fan of Super 7 for like more than 20 years, and I've been following him. You heard that in the interview, and I really like Super 7, and I do support them a lot. I buy a lot of their brands and toys and things like that. And I've even bought puzzles from them and stuff like that. But yeah, that's a shame because I really wanted them to open up a store here in Florida. I thought it would have been a cool place to have a store, and maybe in Las Vegas and stuff. But it is what it is. What are you going to do? So, all right. So, like I said, we got a really cool, interesting figure coming up and a lot of history around this figure that I'm going to talk about when we get to it. I think it's 114, and I look forward to that. Thanks everybody in the chat for contributing, getting involved, and as always, asking questions and adding to the chat. I really love that because this is a give and take, a conversation with you guys. It's not just me chit-chatting. So I also appreciate everybody after the fact that have been enjoying these videos and adding to the conversation and commenting there as well. This is a Big Joe video, so we're going to go with Yo Joe. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot.